Well, hello, everyone. Yet another webinar, yet another Leaders Mindset webinar. Hello and welcome. If you are looking for the Aurelian Coaching webinar on how to make decisions, how to be in command when there's lots of uncertainty and lots of ambiguity going on around you, you are in the right place. My name is Nicole and I am the founder of Aurelian Coaching. And welcome to our live webinars. If you have not participated in any of these before, where have you been? I'm kidding. It's good to have you. And if you have participated in webinars in the past and you're joining us again, that's fantastic. Welcome to you guys too. And there are some people, since I'm not sending out recordings of these webinars and I've just scheduled them throughout the month, there are some people who have actually signed up for the same topic repeatedly, just so you could hear different case studies and hear things again. And if that's you, welcome to you too. Welcome back. Okay, so what I am going to be talking about in this webinar is how to use a leader's mindset in making decisions and being in control, being in command when there's just a lot of uncertainty in the future. And you know what, you can't just wait and see for everything, right? Especially if you don't anticipate that any new information is going to be coming around the corner. You know, sometimes as a leader, you don't have that luxury and you need to make some decisions either in your professional life, on the job, your personal life, whatever it might be. We've been going through this pandemic for a while now, and I've been coaching a number of different people on this exact issue. You know, under different circumstances, they feel totally fine making decisions, but now it's different. It feels different. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So there are going to be 5 questions that I'm going to be presenting. So you'll want to write those down. They're pretty straightforward. If you've been coached by me before, it might sound familiar because it is the model. It is the cascade of questions that I base my entire coaching practice on. And it's really straightforward. It's simple. It always applies to every single situation. So those who are familiar with Aurelian coaching, it's going to sound familiar to you. You will have heard it before. Okay. So a little bit about me for those who don't know me. I've said earlier, my name is Nicole Coustier. I'm the founder of Aurelian Coaching. It's a life coaching firm for achievers, for high achievers. And I come out of the technology and life sciences healthcare space. So a lot of the people that I coach are in tech, in healthcare, in life sciences. They're in very demanding industries where things move. You know, they're in companies that pride themselves on being agile and being nimble and moving markets, disrupting markets. And that's awesome. That's really exciting. And there's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure. So those are the people that I typically attract to my life coaching practice. I have leadership development for both groups and individuals. I do executive coaching at the VP level and up to the C-suite, up to board members, advisories, you name it, they've been coached by me. So that's me. That's why you should listen to anything I have to say, because I've been doing it a while. If you are not already familiar, go to aureliancoaching.com. You'll see all my information there. Okay. All right. So this is not a new topic, and yet it is. Okay, so because we've been in this pandemic for whatever, 18 months or so, there have been a lot of resources, a lot of webinars, a lot of trainings on everything is so uncertain, and here's what you do. And I've participated in a lot of those. And I felt compelled to create something because I see a huge gap in those resources and those webinars that have been provided to people. When I have participated in them, I'm finding gaps. So I wanted to fill that gap for my people. The webinars and the trainings and the resources that I have seen have fallen into one of two categories. The first is sort of hang in there, that kind of, I hear you, you're not alone, everybody is trying to navigate this uncertainty, just try and meditate. So, for me and for a lot of my clients they're high achievers, they identify as high achievers and problem solvers and all this stuff. It's not particularly helpful to participate in a webinar that's sort of like, hang in there, me too. But then some of the other webinars and trainings I've been in fall into a different category, which is, here are the 20 things you ought to do. You ought to do this, you ought to do this, you ought to do this, and you ought to do this. And listen, if those work for you, great. But a lot of times when I've participated in those, it turns out, most of those things, 90% of those things don't apply to me for one reason or another. So I can't really take away any practical information. So that was the gap that I saw. And so what I want to do is fill that gap. I want to provide this 5-question model, this 5-question cascade, so that you, webinar participant, can apply it in the way that makes sense for your situation. Okay, so I want you guys to be able to control all the things that you can control. And don't worry about the things that you can't control. We spend so much time wasting a lot of energy, a lot of time, emotional, mental energy on wishing things were different. And I mean, I get it. And we all know, right? We all know we can't control other people. We all know we can't control our circumstances to some degree, right? Global, regional events. We know that intellectually, cognitively, and yet we spend so much time worrying about those things and attributing all of the outcomes we have in our life to all of those outside things, right? And I want us to stop doing that, Okay. I have a couple of questions, which is awesome. So I was going to wait until the end of the webinar to say, you should call me and you should let me coach you, but I can do it now. I'm having people asking about my sessions. You can go to aureliancoaching.com, and guys, you don't have to sign up for like the big coaching package and the big program. I can coach you for an hour. 1 hour. So you can go to aureliancoaching.com. If you want to get on my calendar, you hit the button on the homepage. That's all. It just says, purchase a single session, purchase a single session, purchase a single session. So go ahead and do that. Get on my calendar, get coached by me. Are the sessions you offer only for career-related issues, or can it be personal? Oh, absolutely. I am a life coach for high achievers. I am a life coach for those who work in very demanding industries like tech and yeah, all the things. So I coach people on their relationships. I coach people on career decisions and frankly, any type of decision making. So yes, absolutely. I don't mind taking a detour if you have Q&A. I will say that it's just me. I don't have slides because I don't like slides. So you just have my mug for another 45 minutes. Okay, so back to the control issue, because this is where a lot of people expend a lot of time and energy focused on things that they can't control, even though intellectually they know that they can't control it, but man, they kind of wish they did. Yeah, stop that. Stop that. What can you control? You all know the answer to this. You can control yourself. But what does that mean? You can control what you think, how you feel, and what you do or don't do. You control what you think, how you feel, and what you do or don't do. Okay, now this is the part in my coaching where I get people who are like, that's not true, Nicole. I can't control how I feel. I just feel. No, I will show you how to control exactly how you feel. And then I get people who tell me, I can't even control what I think. Here's what I want to offer you. You can't control a thought popping into your head. That's true. That's true. However, you can control whether or not you want to believe that thought. That's a totally separate thing. And it's the second question that is what matters in this cascade that I'm going to tell you about. Okay. So you can control what you think, what you choose to think, okay, how you feel, and what you do and don't do. Those are the only things you can ever control. So stop wishing that your boss would act right. Yeah, it's not going to happen. Can you influence people? Sure. But I'm just telling you, if you want the most bang for your buck in terms of how much energy you're expending in order to get control of your whole experience, why don't you focus on the things that control your experience? Okay. You ready for the cascade? The 5-question cascade? All right, here we go. Question number 1. What are the facts of the situation? Okay, I'm going to teach you guys how to identify facts because most people don't. And I have a couple of examples to really bring this home. So facts are usually very, very simple statements. Subject, verb. That's it. Subject, verb, maybe object, right? But that's it. There are no qualifiers, no subjective terms, no adjectives, no adverbs, no interpretations, no qualifiers, as I said. Okay. So subject, verb, that's pretty much it. So you want to list out the facts of the situation, whatever it feels like is not something that you are in control of. There's a lot of uncertainty about the future. You're trying to make decisions and trying to decide what you think about it and how to feel about it. Start off with what are the facts, right? Okay, so here are some examples. I have people who come to my sessions and they want to be coached, and I say, okay, let's get started. Give me the facts of the situation. And they'll say things like, well, my boss is micromanaging me. No, micromanaging, that's a totally subjective term. What does that mean, right? So we have to go through this exercise where we have to simplify facts. And usually facts are, right, A person said words. A person did a thing, or they didn't do a thing, right? Facts, really, really simple. And once that individual identified what the facts were, then they could go on to question 2. And question 2 is, given those facts, what are you making it mean? Given those facts, the boss said words. You can quote what the boss said, or the boss did this, whatever it was. No adjectives, no adverbs, no qualifiers, guys. When you look at those facts, what do you make it mean? That individual that I coached said, yeah, that's micromanaging. That's micromanaging me. When the boss does those things, I'm being micromanaged. Okay. Micromanaging, that's not fact, right? Your interpretation of those facts is, I'm being micromanaged. Okay. Another example. A lot of people are talking about all the COVID stuff. You know, I have coached a couple of people now on the working from home situation while their kids are at home, distance learning. And one person in particular said, you know, look, I'm not, this is not going well. My facts of the situation are that I can't work at home while my kids are at home. The facts are I get distracted. The facts are I get pulled out of meetings. The facts are blah, blah, blah. Guys, those are not facts. The only facts in that situation are, number 1, kids are distance learning from home. And number 2, I am working from home. Full stop. That's it. Stop. Okay. Now, question number 2, what are you making those facts mean? Is it's not going well. Given those facts, right? I can't be focused on my work. I can't perform at the level that I'm used to. I am now feeling stress, right? Okay. Question number 3, are you ready? Okay. Question 3 is, when you think those thoughts, when you are interpreting your situation, your circumstances, those facts a certain way, when you're thinking those thoughts, now what emotion comes up for you? What are you feeling? Right? Are you feeling frustrated, angry, helpless? You know, the person that I coached around the micromanaging, she was so good with her emotions. I was really impressed. She said, I feel infantilized. That was such a good word. She got a gold star from me that day. When she had the thought, I am being micromanaged, the emotion that comes up when she's thinking that is infantilized. She feels distrusted, right? She feels like she's being treated like a child, like an entry-level associate, is what she said. She felt insulted, right? When you think that thought, when you have that interpretation about those facts, now how do you feel? That's question 3. How do you feel? When you are working from home and your kids are distance learning at home, and you're thinking the thought, your interpretation of what happens, you know, a kid knocked on my door when I was on a conference call. That's a fact that happened, right? You made it mean, this isn't working. This isn't working. I can't focus, right? When you're having that thought, what do you feel? You maybe feel stressed out, right? Okay, you need to fill in those blanks for yourself. the details will differ, right? So this is why this cascade that true leaders use is so helpful. It's different than, oh, just hang in there and, we're all going to get through this together. And it's also different from, here are the 3 things, the 10 things, the 20 things you ought to be doing. No, for everybody, it's going to be different. Everybody will have the same set of facts. And you know what? They will have different thoughts about those facts. Let me give another example that I give very often. When I have done group coaching in a corporate environment in the past, there have been times when the big boss comes into the meeting, okay, and the facts were, he walked into the room and he said the words, "We didn't make our numbers last quarter." That's what he said. There are all kinds of team members in the room, right? And one team member made it mean, oh man, we effed up. We effed up. We were supposed to do this and we didn't meet our numbers. And they made it mean I did something wrong. I didn't live up to expectations. Those were the thoughts that they had. Somebody else in the meeting had a totally different thought. Somebody else in the meeting thought, that doesn't make sense. We did all the things that we said we were going to do, and therefore we should have met the goals, right? We should have met our numbers. Totally different reaction, made it mean something completely else. That person made the facts, the boss walking into the room and saying the words, guys, we didn't meet our numbers last quarter. That second person made that mean, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't sound right. Another person in that meeting made it mean, we didn't make our numbers last quarter. There's a huge opportunity for me. I can be the hero and I can, close that gap. Like, what happens if next quarter I'm the one that brings in the most sales? Totally different, guys. And as a result of those different thoughts, all of those people experience completely different emotions. That first person who interpreted a boss's words, guys, we didn't make our numbers last quarter, as something bad. She did something bad. She didn't live up to expectations. She felt failure. She felt worried that maybe her job might be at risk, right? The second person experienced super intense curiosity. This person was trying to solve the problem. Wait, that doesn't make any sense. We did all the things. Why didn't the numbers come through? He was experiencing interest and curiosity and problem solving. I gotta figure out what happened there. And the last person was super crazy excited. Yeah, that person was like, I want to get back to my desk and get on the phone now, right? That person wanted to come to the rescue. You see how this works. The facts are the same. Interpretations, the lens through which we interpret those facts will vary. This is why this 5-question cascade can work for anyone. Okay. Ready for question number 4? When you feel that emotion, what do? We are taught in a lot of circles, we're taught that our mindset impacts our behavior, right? If we believe negative things, we show up in a way that doesn't get positive results, right? Negative thinking, negative results. Positive thinking, positive results. Turns out it's a little bit more sophisticated than that, because people forget or they don't know that emotion is part of the cascade. Oh, so when you think a thing, it makes you feel a thing. And then when you feel the thing, then you do a thing. That's actually how it works. Now, the advertising industry knows all about this, right? Their motivation, their behavior that they're trying to elicit out of all of us is pull out the credit card. Now, are they doing that in their ad campaigns because they're really trying to influence your thinking? No, they're trying to get you to feel something. They're trying to get you to feel FOMO or whatever else, that it's like the most fantastic thing. Like, this is going to solve all your problems, right? They want you to feel relief. They want you to feel excitement, whatever it might be. Advertising knows how this works. Advertising is all about eliciting a very particular emotion in order to get people to act. And yet, we think, well, that's just specific to advertising. No, it's human nature. It's human nature. Just remember that emotion is part of this cascade. And as leaders, especially when you want to be in command, especially when you want to show that you're in control, we often leave emotion at the door, right? We've got our armor on, right? We know that our mindset is important. Absolutely, mindset is important. But let's just skip over the emotion part, right? And this is where people they take a sledgehammer to themselves because they want different habits. They want positive habits. I want to get up at 5 a.m. every morning and work out, but I don't. Why not? Why not? Guys, it's because you need to feel a certain thing in order to get up at 5. You need to have a particular emotion that drives that behavior. Otherwise, just, taking a sledgehammer to yourself and trying to, just do the things that you want to do, well, it doesn't last, right? Because what happens when you no longer have the motivation? Oh, it goes away. This cascade, the secret to this cascade is once you know how it works, you get to control it. Do you want to feel motivated? Oh, we now know what the secret to motivation is. You need to think and believe a certain thing about your circumstances, about the facts, in order to feel the motivation, right? People ask all the time, how do you stay motivated? Well, if you're feeling a lack of motivation, it's probably because your thinking is also a lack. Your interpretation of your circumstances, your interpretation of the facts is some version of, I don't really like XYZ, right? You are motivated to do something when you enjoy it, when you genuinely enjoy it and like it. If you don't believe that you like it, where is that motivation going to come from? You can't just conjure that up. See how this works? Okay. You ready for the 5th question? So here's a quick review. What are the facts? And I told you how to define facts. Number 2, given those facts, what am I making it mean? Can you guys hear that dog barking? I'm sorry if that's distracting. Let me close the window. I think that's better. I don't know. You'll have to let me know. Okay. So friendly dog chats. Lindsay says yes, right. I don't mind the dog barking, but some people may not like it. Okay, so quickly reviewing. So number one, what are the facts of the situation? And I've told you how to define facts now. Okay, number two, given those facts, what are you making it mean? Number three, when you are making it mean that thing, what do you feel? And when you feel that thing, what do you do? By the way, it's not always action. It might be inaction. When the future is uncertain, when you are dealing with uncertain circumstances, what happens? You become paralyzed because the thought is, I don't have enough information. I don't know what to do. You have the belief you don't know what to do. And therefore, how can you act? You feel paralyzed. You feel confused, right? This is how it works. Okay. So when you show up that way, when you act or don't act, what results are you getting in your life? When you do that thing, what outcomes do you see in your job, in your relationships? Right? This is the cascade, guys. It works all the time. 100% of the time, there's no exception. Okay, now I already know, because I've done this a few times, I already know where people are going to be pushing back on me. So let me tackle that first, and then I'll take questions. The first is, hey, Nicole, it's not always true that emotions come from thoughts, because I don't have a thought first. I have the emotion first. I feel mad first, and then I have all these thoughts. Okay. I didn't say that the thoughts had to be conscious. And in fact, a lot of times they are totally unconscious. It may be your fight, flight, or freeze response, which is part of the limbic brain, right? That's pure instinct. But it is the interpretation of your circumstances, facts. You're interpreting them in a split second in your unconscious brain as threat. Something bad is going to happen, right? So it may not be a conscious thought, but the whole thing is, once you have the fear, the anger, the paralysis, whatever the discomfort is, once you feel the emotion, the good news is that's a tripwire for you, right? Now you know to search for the thought behind it. Again, it may not be conscious. That's okay. That's totally okay. Now you know how the cascade works, so you can go find the thought. I feel danger. I feel, where is the fear coming from? What's that interpretation? I have a question. How do I separate my ego from my feeling or anger? I don't quite know what you mean by ego, but in this cascade only works if you're willing to be honest with yourself, right? So, so many times when I'm coaching people, they are high achievers, they're in leadership, and you know what? They don't really want to be vulnerable with me. So because they've got their armor up, right? They've got their armor up and they don't want to admit all the vulnerabilities. If you are angry, why are you angry? What are the facts? It's usually some version of that person said words. So what? What do you make the words mean? Are you making it mean that I don't know, what could it be? When I have been angry in the past, It's been some version of, I'm making it mean they must think I'm stupid, right? They must think I'm stupid. That's the thought behind my anger sometimes. So it's different for everybody, but whatever the feeling is, you need to surface. And it might take some thinking, might take some journaling, it might take talking it through with a friend, with a coach, for you to surface the underlying thoughts. But that's what needs to happen. Okay, the other pushback that I get is, this all sounds fine and good, but what if the thought is absolutely right? In other words, the way I'm interpreting my situation, I know it leads to this negative emotion and I know it leads to this behavior, but I don't actually think I'm unjustified in having that thought. I don't think I'm wrong to be interpreting the situation that way. I've listed the facts. I know what I'm making it mean. And you know what? I'm not wrong. Okay. Maybe. Just recognize that this cascade is never wrong. So if what you're feeling is leading to certain behavior and then leading to a certain result in your life, which could be anything from you're not performing on the job, you're not being the kind of person that you really want to be in that role or in that relationship, professional relationship, personal relationship, the outcome that you get in your life, the results that you get in your life, tell the story. So if you want to, and the whole thing about the cascade is it creates the awareness so that you can make a decision to either embrace that thought or relinquish that thought. You get to choose, right? There are a lot of times where we feel lots of negative emotions, injustice at things that are happening in the world. And because of that injustice, how are we showing up? We're distracted at work, or we feel motivated to get involved in volunteer activities or advocacy for something. Listen, whatever it might be, you can be okay with the thought, no judgment. As your coach, I am giving you permission that as long as you're making a proactive decision on those thoughts, that's fine, totally fine, right? I'm not telling you that when you surface the thoughts and those thoughts generate an emotion that leads to behavior and results that you're unsatisfied with, I'm not sitting here telling you, well, you got to change it. No, you do what you need to do. Just recognize this is how it works, right? So the way to disrupt the cascade, if you get to a point where you want something different, you are ready to get a different result. You are ready to show up in your relationships differently. Okay, now you have everything you need to disrupt the cascade. You can say to yourself, these are the facts. Up to now, I've always interpreted this way. But I know that when I interpret those facts this way, this is what I feel. And then that's how I behave. And then that's the result that I get. But is there another lens of interpretation I want to explore? Go ahead and put that through the cascade and see what comes out the other side. This is what leaders understand and appreciate. When they say, I need to get control of the situation and I need to be in command and I need to make decisions, leaders understand and appreciate this cascade, that they're controlling what they believe and what they think. First of all, that they even know, right? That they know this is how I'm interpreting the situation, right? So there's awareness. And then they recognize the emotional component, that it's the emotion that's driving how they show up at all, right? It's not different from advertising, guys. And then the results that they get is directly related to what they're doing or not doing, saying or not saying, how they're showing up for their people on the job. The leader's mindset is, I have awareness about all of this, and I know that I can disrupt the cascade. If I want to get out of paralysis, I got to stop embracing the thought that has me so damn paralyzed all the time. Right? You know, I deal with a lot of women in leadership who are, they're dealing with the home work balance thing. And almost without exception, people are coming to me saying, it's so damn hard. Listen to me. The more you embrace that thought, that belief that it's hard, the more you will get a result. It's really hard, really, really hard. Okay. Now, I'm not saying it's so easy to snap your fingers and say, this whole work-life balance, it's a piece of cake. No, I'm not saying that. But there's so much power in just recognizing, oh, I keep thinking it's hard. And maybe that has something to do with my experience. Maybe that has something to do when I think the thought, this is so hard. What do I feel? I feel trapped. I feel, when you feel trapped, how are you going to show up in your life? You're not going to be acting out of abundance of energy and being, you know, the type of professional you want to be and the type of mom or wife that you want to be. No, you're already limiting yourself. So this leader's mindset surfaces those factors in how you're getting results. Okay. Okay, guys, that's my presentation. I hope you guys got a lot out of it. There have been a couple of other questions from previous webinars. Feel free, if you have questions, go ahead and type them in. I will take them and I will address them. But in the meantime, I'll take these last few minutes to walk through a couple of other questions that have happened in the past, so you guys get to benefit from all the webinars in the past. Look at that. Before I do that, I want to coach you. Go to aureliancoaching.com. Just book a session, just an hour. Let me coach you. Bring to the table whatever it is, even if right after this webinar, you're taking these 5 questions and you're running it through whatever problem or challenge you have. Let's walk through it. I'll give you some additional insights. So many of my coaching sessions are the practical application of this model, of this cascade to your life. So you get to practice. The more you practice, the more you recondition yourself, the more you get to feel on purpose. Isn't that exciting? What a funny concept. A lot of people are like, you can feel on purpose? Yeah, you can totally feel on purpose. You can change your knee-jerk reactions to things. Can't do it overnight, but you can. This is how. This is how. Okay, so sign up, aureliancoaching.com. Click on any of the buttons. Put something in my calendar. I want to talk to you. I had somebody that asked me in a previous webinar, Nicole, this is all fine and good, but my issue is I am being held back from decision making, not because all the choices are bad or negative or all of those things. She's saying, I have unlimited choices. I have, like, all of it is possible. Like, you know, so I'm in paralysis because everything is open to me. And I told that person that the cascade still works. It still works. What are the facts of the situation? The facts of the situation are not that you have unlimited options. Really? Unlimited career options? You can just walk into NASA and become an astronaut tomorrow. No, of course not. You may have 10 options and it feels like a lot. Do you have job offers? Do you have 10 job offers? No. What are the facts? What are the facts? Then what are you making it mean? Those facts, I have, 10 opportunities I could explore, or I have 3 job offers on the table, and I'm making it mean that I can't choose. Why can't you choose? What's your interpretation of those 3 job offers? Your interpretation is probably some version of what is the right thing to pick? What is the right choice? Oh, guys, do not do this to yourself. Please. There is no such thing. Okay. I know we're all in leadership. We're all high achievers. We want the best for ourselves, for our families, for our teams. And we make it mean that there's one right answer and a million wrong answers, and you got to pick the right one. And I'm here to tell you that is not how life works. There's no right or wrong. A lot of people don't believe me on this. There's no right or wrong decision, guys. Turns out the way it works is that a decision is on a spectrum of everything from poor to best. And the decision is on that spectrum somewhere, And a lot of times what we do is we judge our current situation through the eyes of our future selves who look back. Is that being fair to yourself? No, of course you're always going to make the best decision that you can in any given point. Nobody actively picks the poor decision. Come on. Now, with whatever decision you make, there are going to be consequences. That's true. Well, what do you think about those consequences, right? The fact is, I make a choice and there is a consequence. You may not even be able to identify what that consequence is. But what are you making that mean? That you can't handle the consequence? What if you embrace the thought that, yeah, well, whatever, I have everything it takes to handle a consequence. Doesn't that thought serve you better? So there's no right or wrong, okay? No right or wrong. The decision spectrum is anywhere from poor, unsatisfactory, decent, good, better, best. You're always going to do the best, right? What if that's the thought that you embraced? I always do my best. I cannot do anything other than my best. So now I'm just not going to make a decision because I'm making it mean that my best might not be good enough. Do you see how surfacing your thoughts, being honest with yourself, being vulnerable to admit all the things gives you the opportunity to disrupt the cascade and change your thinking, change how you feel, change how you behave, change all the results that you get in your life, change your life. Change your life. That's how it works, guys. It's not more complicated than that. Can you upload today's webinar on YouTube? It was so powerful and life-changing. I'll do it for you. I wasn't going to send out recordings, but we're at the end. We're at the end of the month. I think there's like one more. So let me get through all the live recordings first. And then, yes, I'll put it on YouTube and I'll make sure, Aurelian Coaching has a YouTube channel, guys. Did you know? And you can find me on LinkedIn. Now this is shameless plugging for the next 10 minutes. So if you want to kick yourself out, you're good to go. But You can go on LinkedIn, and if you follow me, if you follow Nicole Coustier, LinkedIn/Nicole Coustier, I do every day, every weekday, I do a 2-minute video, and it has the captions, the subtitles, so you don't have to, but it's only 2 minutes. So it's one big idea in 2 little minutes. You guys need to follow that. And I'll put it, there's a playlist on my YouTube channel. It's Aurelian Coaching Shorts. And I put stuff up there too. So if you aren't on my email list, why aren't you on my email list, guys? It's you get stuff like this on email. And yes, there is not a single email that I send out where I don't say, you really ought to book a session with me. So yes, if you don't like to be sold to, fine, don't join the email list. But I give a lot of really good information. So go to aureliancoaching.com/email, sign up if you weren't already. Okay. Anything else? Any other questions? Okay, let's see. I narrowed my career options down to a few, but still can't choose because the options require money investment up front, like an expensive computer, expensive camera. And I'm worried that if I invest a lot of money, I realize it's not what I want. This is so good. Guys, listen. You get to decide. You get to decide. Think about when you give up. That's the behavior, right? So say you've made all the investment and it doesn't turn out. I realize it's not what I want, right? So you give up, right? What is the emotion? You're having the thought, it's not what I want. But what if you could make yourself want it? What if you could make yourself love it? How do you make yourself love something? That's crazy, right? You can generate your own emotion. The whole point of this is that you don't have to be at the effect of everything, even if your life and your thinking and your beliefs, everything has been one way until you use this 5-question model. Once you use the model, then it can change. And again, I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying that it doesn't take some reconditioning, but this 5-question model is the answer to it all. This is the leader's mindset. This is decision-making. So you've already identified all sorts of thoughts. There are thoughts in here. There are like 5 thoughts in there. You could do a model on each of those 5. This concept, I can't choose because it requires money. What is so bad about spending money and it not turning into something else? Did you not learn anything through that process? Is it just, of course, it's possible to learn tons of stuff, right? That money could be an investment in an immense amount of growth and knowledge that you would not have gotten otherwise. That's one way to think of it. There may be lots of others. I'm worried that if I invest a lot, I'll realize what is worried is an emotion. When you are worried, how do you show up? You purchase hesitantly and you don't dive in 100%. You don't go all in, right? Worry is not helping you here. Worry is not going to result in the behavior that's going to ensure that this is a success. That's the cascade you're in now. You can pick a different cascade. I've watched this webinar a few times. Oh, see, somebody is a repeat customer. Today's session was the best. Please upload today's. Okay, I'll do it. I'll put it on YouTube. Okay, guys, but give me until Tuesdays. I think Tuesdays is the next one. And we'll go from there. Okay, you guys have 5 minutes left. Go do things before You are, whatever it is before the toll of 4 o'clock Pacific. I've really enjoyed being here with you guys. If you have any other questions, let me know. You can send me an email, nicole.coustier@aureliancoaching.com. But really, just go ahead and sign up for a session. It's one session. It is not possible to not have a breakthrough. It's not possible. You show up in a session, I will coach you, you will have a breakthrough. It'll be the best ROI ever. Okay, guys, have a fantastic weekend. For those of you who want to sign up for Tuesdays, I'll see you at Tuesdays. Otherwise, afterwards, I'll go ahead and post it on YouTube, and then I'll send out the link to everybody. Okay, make sure you're on the email list, aureliancoaching.com/email. Okay, take care. Bye.